live streaming going forward now. From now on, every race, we will continue to upload the streams to the podcast places. So please tell your friends about us. Get your family involved. Formula One is the fastest growing sport in the world. There's about 100 million people just got through watching the Austrian Grand Prix. So have all your friends and family become part of it. Good morning, Formula One fans. This is the Formula One News Hour. I'm Jonathan Steele, your host, and it's good to have everybody along this morning for our very first live stream of a race. So it is the Austrian Grand Prix. The track is 2.683 miles long. It has 10 turns, and the elevation is 63.4 meters. So it's an interesting track. As you come out of the starting gate there at the very beginning of the race, you go up a hill and then there's a sharp right turn. It's kind of like the same start they have at Coda here in Austin, Texas. The difference is that at the end of the straightaway after the start, at Coda, the track has a sharp left turn, and here in Austria, it is a sharp right turn. So yesterday, during the sprint to the pole, we had some altercations, should we say, in between Max Verstappen and his teammate Checo Perez. Perez said it was Verstappen's fault. Verstappen said it was Perez's fault. At the end of the day, there was no harm. Verstappen was very lucky to get out of it because his right-hand wheels were forced off into the grass, and how he didn't lose it, I don't know. The starting grid at the very back is Nick de Vries and Joe Granu, and then there's Logan Sargent, Joe Granu, and then Yuki Tsunoda and Sergio Perez starting back in 15th. Valtteri Bottas and Oscar Piastri. Don't know what's going on with Bottas this year. He's not doing well. Then Esteban Ocon and George Russell starting in 11th. And coming up from them is Alex Albon having a great drive this year with Williams and Pierre Gasly. Then we got Nico Hülkenberg and Fernando Alonso. It's kind of a little way back for Fernando. And then Lance Stroll, Lewis Hamilton starting in the 5th position. Then Lando Norris, very good for McLaren there, and Carlos Sainz in 3rd. And then on the front row, you've got Charles Leclerc and Max Verstappen. So that is not the order they finished in yesterday. Obviously, Perez had to take some kind of a penalty because he is starting 15th and he finished 2nd in the sprint for the pole. So haven't had a chance to see all the news this morning. It's 8 o'clock here in Austin, Texas. It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon in Austria. The weather is very nice. We've got broken blue skies. It's dry. Everybody's on the slick tires. It's going to be interesting to see if they're starting on the hard or soft. As you know, under rules, they have to change tires at least once. So it's going to be an interesting day. Yesterday was interesting because of the wet weather. If you watched or listened to my podcast yesterday or both, you'll have heard me say that during about lap 20, it was 24 laps, and around lap 18, the Mercedes decided to change their tires from the intermediate wet to the slick. The tire warmers have come off, and so we're about to get going with the formation lap. And everybody's on medium tires with the exception of Alonso, Bottas, and Magnussen, who is on hard. So that's very interesting to see. So we would estimate we're going to see about the first between 34, 35 laps and 40, 42 laps. We'll see everybody get as much out of those tires as we can. If you remember, I awarded Max Verstappen the tire king a few races ago, only to later give it to Alonso for the way they were able to manage the number of laps on those tires. It's a beautiful view of the Austrian track here this morning, nestled in the mountains in Austria. If you've never been to Austria, I would really recommend a nice visit there. It's really pretty. I'm not a fan of the food, but the countryside, the country in general is just really, really nice to visit and go through. And by the way, I'm not a fan of English food or German food as well. I do like, of course, the food over here in the US and Mexican food. So anyway, it is a sea of orange, as this is Red Bull's home race here in Austria. Red Bull, the founder of Red Bull, was Austrian. He died last year, actually, during the COTA race. So it's a sea of orange, and of course we'll see a lot of that orange smoke can stuff coming out if Verstappen is going to win this race. Well, and after yesterday, is it really if Verstappen is going to win this race? In 24 laps, he opened up 15 seconds on his teammate. And we've got something going on here with, is it a replay? Something going on with Hülkenberg's car? Is someone? No, he's starting from pit lane is what it is. So that would be Hülkenberg. So something must have happened. They must have changed out a power unit or something, because he is starting from the pit lane. So we're going to have to warn you, of course, this morning. This little podcast room that I have in my house, for whatever reason, it doesn't like me, and I suffer from little itches and everything all over the place. So we're coming to the end of the formation lap. The pace car is pulling up to the end. The guy with the green flag is walking up towards the end of the car. He waves the green flag right now, and the lights are going. 3, 4, 5, and they are off. And that's kind of a slow start. Anyway, Max Verstappen does get a good start. He's taking the lead, and he's taking the right-hand turn ahead of Charles Leclerc, followed by Carlos Sainz. And then who is that? Fernando Alonso following Carlos Sainz. The number 5 car of Lewis Hamilton is struggling to get past. In fact, he's lost out. He's lost out to looks like Checo Perez. Lando Norris. Lando Norris got a very, very good start. So right now we've got Verstappen, the 2 Ferraris, Fernando Alonso, and someone has just lost it at the end, and he's in the gravel. I'm going to suggest it has to be one of the rear cars there, maybe Joe Granu or somebody like that. But anyway, there's a temporary yellow flag, but he's lost it, so it's gone off. So he's obviously got that car back under control. And Verstappen is already moving into a comfortable lead. I see the two Aston Martins of Lance Stroll and Fernando Alonso going nicely there, and we've got another safety car, yellow flag come out for a safety car on lap 2. What has happened? We'll have to wait and get the replay, and it is the Nicky Tsunoda's AlphaTauri, and he's coming on the radio and saying he has damage. So he's going to have to, and he is bringing that car back around into pit lane. But it looks like they're bringing a safety car out, so that would mean that there is some debris left on the track from that accident. It was Tsunoda that spun out, and I say they're changing the nose cone of Tsunoda is what it is. So there obviously is some nose cone or pieces of that car left on the track, but he is out. Yeah, they're picking it up right now, and we can see we've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 of the track guys picking up bits of car off the track. That bits being the nose cone, and they can change those nose cones in about I'm going to say 5 to 7 seconds. So pretty slick the way that they change those nose cones, because when they come in to change the tires, they actually pick the front of the car up with the nose cone. So you can see it's although it's easy and quick to change, it is able to take quite substantial pressure to lift the front of that car up. And so we do have the safety car still out. He's coming in. No, he's staying out. So where are we going with him? He's going back down through. The safety car is going through pit lane. So interesting. Anyway, we're going to get a nice, as we're waiting for that, we're going to get a nice replay. And Verstappen made an excellent start, cut right across in front of Charles Leclerc, took that first turn nicely. And Perez did not take the first turn nicely. He actually had to leave the track and come back on. And let's see with Valtteri, something's going to happen with Valtteri Bottas here, because they're giving a replay on Valtteri, and what happened? Oh, Valtteri Bottas ran over the debris. So what Niki Tsunoda ran into the back of somebody. Let's see what happens here. Who was it? Oh, Niki Tsunoda ran into the back of Joe Granu and broke off a piece of his nose cone. So that is why he had this little mishap right here, where he ends up going straight on. No, he saves it there. So where did he actually lose it? All right, so anyway, the safety car is going to come in. So they're getting through this replay. Oh, he lost it right here. He ended up going straight on because he did not have downforce on the front of that car for grip, because he lost the nose cone. So the safety car is coming in this lap. Max Verstappen will lead the restart of the race here, as he slows everybody up, lets the pace car get out of the way. Folks, it is a beautiful day in Austria this morning. It's really good to see. It's nice open blue skies. Even although there's some cloud out there, it's still really nice open blue skies. And we're off back live racing, and Verstappen has jumped off into the lead. Obviously, he was in the lead, but he's got a really good start here. He's already opened up probably a half to 3/4 of a second lead as they go down the straightaway and come into that first turn. Excuse me, my little allergies are now all coming into play, so please be patient with me. But anyway, actually, it's a long train out there. It's interesting the way Verstappen got that restart going. It looks like he caught a bunch of guys off by surprise, because there really is a large distance between the front and the rear car, between Verstappen and Magnussen at the end there. And it looks like a couple of the guys, no, that's not, they're still on the medium tire. I thought it looked like during that yellow flag, maybe some yellow car, that some guys came in and changed some tires, but no. So anyway, right now, Hamilton has managed to get himself past Lando Norris, and Alonso has moved up past Hulkenberg. Lance Stroll is dropped down to 8th, and so he's lost a couple of places. At the bottom of the field, though, Logan Sargent, who started off in row 19, is now up to 16th. So he got the upgrades that Alex Albon got last week. And if you remember, Albon got driver of the day last week for the position and the points that he managed to score for the Williams team. Right now, Albon is right in the same position as he started the race. So it's going to be interesting to see if they move up. There is the possibility for DRS for a number of these cars when the F1 officials give the green light on the DRS, enabling, because we've got a lot of cars that are within half a second of the car in front. Now, what we'll end up here is, of course, we'll end up with lots of little DRS zones. So that's showing Esteban Ocon. I say Esteban Ocon in the Alfa Romeo. So let's see. We're gonna have a replay here with Sergio Perez coming up on the Yuki Tsunoda, not Yuki Tsunoda, Joe Granu car there. Sorry, at my age, I got to pick these cars out fast. MoneyGram has just got themselves on another nice advertisement because of a little incident between looks like Magnussen and the car in front of him, which was De Vries. That's so Magnussen is all the way back, and now we have DRS enabled. So we're going to see some moving going on here. Obviously, it's not going to be at the front because Verstappen has already opened up a 1.4 second lead on Charles Leclerc. But we might see Carlos Sainz fighting his teammate because he's he's right at half a second behind Leclerc. That's Carlos Sainz. And then Hamilton is nearly 1.2 seconds behind Carlos Sainz. What we're going to see is Lando Norris taking that position back. I think that he lost to Hamilton because he's less than a second. And the rules are that the car, you cannot enable DRS unless you're within 1 second of the car in front. And so we're just seeing Sergio Perez enabling a DRS there, and we've got Lando Norris complaining about Hamilton exceeding track limits. So what happens in qualifying, of course, if you exceed the track limits, they take that time away from you. But in the actual race, what happens is they'll let you have two or three set times where you exceed track limits, and then you get black flagged. And then after the black flag, then they start knocking points off at 5 seconds at a time, not points, but seconds. So it's not something that you want to do, keep doing continuously, because F1 does have penalties in place. So I think it's just a matter of time here before Lando Norris is able to take that position back, especially if, and we're just watching the car of Charles Leclerc exceeding speed limits, exceeding track limits coming through that turn. And Carlos Sainz is in fact going to challenge his teammate for that position, because now he's in fact, it's only a matter of, he has DRS, so, and of course Leclerc doesn't. And so he's decided not to overtake him here. Strange, maybe he's got team orders not to do it, because he was literally within half a car length of Charles Leclerc right there. So let's see what's happening a bit further down the field. We've got Lance Stroll has moved up past Hülkenberg and in behind his teammate Fernando Alonso. You know what's really interesting? Alonso's won on every track in Formula One except Austria. So he's in his, I'm going to say, about 19th or 20th year of driving in Formula One, and this is the one track that he has never won at. So, and the way things are looking today, he's going to end the day not winning at it either. He may end up in a podium position, but he's certainly not going to win it, because Verstappen we're just 9 laps in, and he's already opened up a 2.5 second lead. So Carlos Sainz is in fact taking team orders not to pass his teammate. That could come back to haunt them, because although they are opening up a gap between Hamilton, it's only a matter of time before Hamilton actually squeezes past. Only a matter of time before Norris squeezes past Hamilton. So it's really interesting. I have to keep trying to read the little the communication going on between the drivers and the teams, and so it's not challenging, but it is interesting how it kind of messes with your brain a little bit, because you're visually taking on 2 or 3 things. And we're just watching Nico Hülkenberg go wide, locked up his front wheels and having to go wide through one of the turns there. And they're showing a replay now of Carlos Sainz and how close Lando Norris is to Hamilton, and I don't know why he hasn't gone through it. And we've got George Russell in danger of losing his position to Sergio Perez. The thing that's happened though is we've got a DRS train, and in fact. Perez is he going to manage to get past it? They've both got DRS. Who has the faster car? That's interesting. It is, in fact, it is the it is the Red Bull car. So George Russell has lost out that 11th position, and Perez has taken it. So we've still got Alex Albon there in 10th position. And we've got Logan Sargent now has moved up to 15th. So a really nice day happening for the Williams team again. What's interesting is we got Lando Norris up in 5th position and his teammate Oscar Piastri all the way back down in 14th. So we don't know if that's a sign of just a better driver, or if maybe there's a little issue going on with that car, because last week Piastri and Norris were very close together. They managed to really put on a really good show for McLaren. McLaren, the last 2 or 3 races, has done really well, and Norris is complaining that the only way that Hamilton is managing to stay ahead of him is because he exceeds the track limit. So something's going to happen about that. We'll see the McLaren team make a complaint to the stewards, but I'm surprised the stewards haven't seen it already themselves. So anyway, we got something going on here with Pierre Gasly. He's going to come on by. That looks like Magnussen, and took that position away quite nicely, actually. So race control, car Hamilton deleted. Okay, so he is getting penalized for exceeding track limits. So we're going to see here what's going to have to happen, or what will happen is the stewards will give Hamilton a 5-second penalty, and we've just seen Hulkenberg come into the pits for new tires, but we're only 12 laps in, so there must have been something that he was not happy about on there. Where is he now? He is in he's in 19th, so, and he's gone on to the hard tires. So he was on the medium. He was one of those few that's on the mediums. So anyway, you've got Haas. Haas was really hoping to have a really good year this year. They had a number of upgrades, and they've had some moments of shining where they've really, at one time they had in free practice they had the fastest time, and Hulkenberg was up there qualifying in 3rd and 4th position and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, they end up back at the back of the pack. Magnussen's moved up one place to 17th, and Hulkenberg is still stuck there in 19th. And we've just seen Lewis Hamilton has just come on and complained that his car is really slow. Hence, he is exceeding track limits, and I just see him doing it again. And they've got a black and white flag for track limits, and so they're going to have to either bring the car in and make some adjustments. And we have a yellow flag come out. Let's see, we got the Haas car that is stopped. And it's Nico Hulkenberg. Oh, and it's smoking. So he's got drivetrain problems in that car. It brings out a yellow flag. So this might be a good time, depending on how long it's going to take them to get that car off the track. They may bring them in and change tires or something for Lewis Hamilton. But obviously he's got to do something now because he's been black and white flagged. So that's the last warning that he can get. So the only way he can stay ahead of Lando Norris is to exceed the track limits, right? So if he can't do that anymore, then Lando Norris is going to fly past him. So where is George Russell is stuck all the way back in 11th. He's half a second behind Alex Albon, but as we noted last week, Alex Albon held off 3 of the top cars for the last probably 4 or 5 laps of the race, and managed to he finished 8th. So instead of 10th, so that he would not lose that position and gain some really good points for his team. And now we're seeing some of the cars coming in for tires. For some reason, at the beginning of the race, I'd estimated these tires would be good for maybe 30 laps, but I'm watching here and they're saying that the tires, the medium tires, are good for around 20-25 laps. We're at 15, so, and yeah, a bunch of the cars are coming in, and I'm just looking at the interval right now between Verstappen and second place, and it's 8.5 seconds in 15 laps. So really it's sad to say that unless something dramatic happens to Max Verstappen, we've already got the winner of the race. Now, what's really good is we've got Alonso has moved up to 4th place. Norris and Hamilton came in for tires. That's what happened there. So Alonso and Stroll now find themselves in 4th and 5th. So they're going to stay. Alonso's on the hard tire, so he can stay out there quite a while longer. Stroll is on medium. So that means he's got to come in at some point. So anyway, interesting things happening. Everybody's gone to the hard tire. That was on the medium tire. They've gone to the hard tire. So the hard tire should, it's a 71 lap race. It should get them, maybe not. I think it's going to be a 2-stop race is what this is going to be, because I don't think they can make it another 50 laps on those, not quite firm, 52 laps. They can't do it on those hard tires. So they'll probably swap out. Well, that was a long pit stop for the Ferrari, 4.5 seconds. Yeah, both of them 4.5 seconds for Leclerc and Carlos Sainz. So that is really crazy. So now they've all come in, changed tires. We got green flag, and Verstappen stayed out on the medium tire. So he's now got a 19-second lead because of the time it takes them to pit, added on to that 8 or 9 seconds that they have. So actually the pit stop's quite fast. So they must have a fairly short pit lane here, because it looks like the pit stop's going to take about 13-14 seconds. Now, both of those Ferraris, the actual time to change the tires was a long time, at 4.5 seconds, about 2 seconds longer than it should. So something's going on there with the tires. So at the back of the field then, and Hulkenberg, who was dead last, is now out, of course, with a powertrain issue. Now, that's something that you don't see much anymore, that we used to see a lot in the earlier days of Formula One. And for that matter, the Indy for the Indy car as well, they're quite reliable. Engines you see, and the Indy 500, I can remember back in the 80s and 90s, it was not unusual to see cars losing engines. And even in Formula One, it was not unusual to see the cars losing engines. So, and we got one of the Ferraris going past. Who is that? Is that Perez? No, that was Perez, Hamilton. That Perez is now up in 3rd position. Hamilton it's Lando Norris. So it's Carlos Sainz has just passed Lando Norris. So Carlos Sainz now is behind Hamilton. So we're going to see Hamilton got new tires. So we're going to see if those new tires are going to help Hamilton out any, or if he's still going to be having handling problems with that car. Right now, Carlos Sainz has got about a 1 second to make up. He's got less than half a second for DRS, and we're just watching George Russell going on the inside of I believe it's Alex Albon. No, and we have in the pit. Oh, that's sorry, that it's a replay on the pits. Oh, we had a pit incident with Joe Granu and the Williams car. Can't tell if that was Logan Sargent, or I think it was Logan Sargent. Whereas Alex Albon has dropped back to 12th. So so George Russell was just moving. That didn't look like Albon's driving a blue car, so I don't know. Nicky Tsunoda has just picked up a penalty, 5 seconds for something. We don't know what, but exceeding track limits too many times. So it's not going to be. If that's happened to Tsunoda, then so it's a problem. And we've got Esteban Ocon coming on the radio and saying Valtteri Bottas has got nose cone damage and that it is about to fall off. That would mean he has hit somebody. Let's see if we can see if the cat. Oh yeah, he does too. He's got serious nose cone damage. But so does one of the Alpines. Can't figure out which one it is. Carlos Sainz has just passed Lewis Hamilton, so obviously Hamilton has still got problems handling with that car because after the tire change, Carlos Sainz was 1.5 seconds behind him. He's just taken that position away in 2 laps, so it's obvious that Hamilton still has handling problems, and we've just seen Magnussen in the Haas get past Alex Albon. That's kind of a surprise move there. One that Alex Albon would let him get past him like that because it looked like a fairly easy pass. Now remember with the DRS they gain about 13-14 kilometers per hour for about maybe 4 or 5 seconds. So it's quite an advantage. And it's interesting here because I'm watching a replay of Carlos Sainz getting past Lewis Hamilton, and they both had DRS, but that Ferrari just had better grip, and Hamilton had to brake sooner than Carlos Sainz did. So very, very interesting there. And now we're just watching Carlos Sainz take a position away from Sergio Perez, and he made that look easy. So the Ferraris are doing really, really well today. They've got, right now they're in 2nd and 3rd position, and they're able to move it. Carlos Sainz made getting past Sergio Perez look easy, and that's surprising because remember that Perez car is very similar to the in fact, Red Bull will argue that it's the car is exactly the same as Verstappen's. That's the setup is different for the driver, but the car is exactly the same. But Sergio Perez sure made going past. Carlos Sainz certainly made going past Sergio Perez look easy. So Alex Albon now has made up 1 more position, so he's back into 11th. And then ahead of him, he's got Nicky Tsunoda, and Tsunoda has got to serve that 5-second penalty at some point, whether he leaves it to the end of the race or he decides to go into the pits. Well, he's going to have to go into the pits, and when he goes into the pits, they will force him to take that 5-second penalty. Well, Alex Albon has taken away that thing altogether. He is now back in 10th position. He's found something in that car all of a sudden because he's moved up 2 places in the last 3 laps. So and he's now only 1.5 seconds behind Perez. Behind George Russell. and Hamilton is coming on the radio. Sorry, that's why I was confused there for a minute. Hamilton is coming on the radio and saying that that he is not able to get past, although he has. Well, they both have DRS. He's trying to pass Sergio Perez. So something wrong. Race control, black and white flag for Carlos Sainz. Aha. That's not going to be very good. He's one more time. That's for exceeding track limits, and so we're going to watch Hamilton go past Sergio Perez. Is he? No. Perez had the inside on the corner and managed to hold him off. But either something's wrong with that Perez car, or Perez is having a tough day handling it, because that car should easily outpace that Hamilton car without any problem at all. So, all right, we're with 23 laps down. Our top cars are Verstappen, of course, and then Leclerc, Sainz, and Perez, Hamilton. So those are your top five. Again, Hamilton's got DRS, but he is so flat out speed. The Red Bull car is just plain faster than the Mercedes, because even with DRS, Hamilton is not able to catch Perez. So, and then looks like he's having to brake a little earlier going into the corner, so Perez can hold him off. Now, Perez has a problem because he's 2.5 seconds behind Carlos Sainz, so he does not have DRS. So you've got to wonder how long, and Hamilton's complaining that Perez completely cut him off on turn 10. Has he got a penalty yet? Oh, okay. So Lewis Hamilton's kind of having like little baby fits here of late. I'm just watching Alex Albon go right past the car of who is that? Oh, the Haas car. So really interesting. Whoa! And we've just seen Lando Norris run into the back of who is it? Lando Norris ran into the back of Magnussen. Or was it Piastri? Oh, it was Piastri that ran into the back of Magnussen. So he's going to have to come in and get a new nose cone. And Perez is still holding off Hamilton, and Hamilton is still whining on the radio. Anyway, I was going to say this last week, Hamilton came out again and said, that Formula One needs to do something about how fast the Red Bull cars are, and that they need to find a way to slow them down. And it's interesting because when Verstappen found himself, in fact, Verstappen's come into pit lane for tires, and he is out, what is that, 2.3 seconds, perfect. So he should come out, I think he might come out behind Leclerc. Let's see. Yeah, he is going to come out in second place as Leclerc comes and makes the turn now. There goes Verstappen, and Leclerc just goes on by him, but that's not going to last long because because Verstappen is going to have a new tires on that car, and he's right on the tail of Charles Leclerc. So what I meant to say is he's going to have, and he does have DRS. So it's only a matter of maybe half a lap here before he'll take that lead position back again. Anyway, they've just come on again and said that Esteban Ocon has a 5-second penalty for exceeding track limits. So we've got lots of drivers struggling to keep their cars in between the white lines, and it's eventually costing them. And we're going to see now we've got Red Bull telling Perez to box for tires, so Hamilton will quit complaining. Anyway, back to that thing that I was talking about when Hamilton was complaining that he couldn't catch the Red Bull cars. Then Hamilton wanted the F1 stewards to do something to make the Red Bull cars slower. And when Verstappen, is he going to get him? No, sorry. Verstappen was in fact, he's going to pass him right here. He's back into the lead. So anyway, when Mercedes was dominating, Verstappen used to come out and say, we've got to make our car better. We've got to make our car better. He didn't come out and say, oh, we've got to find a way to have the F1 stewards slow the Mercedes down. He looked at it from, we've got to make our car better. And Hamilton now finds himself in that position, and he wants to slow the Red Bull cars down. He doesn't want to make them better. And now what we're watching is Verstappen lapping. So 26 laps in, and he is already lapping the rear end cars. So really interesting. So Sergio Perez got his tires changed, and he's trying now to get past Alex Albon. Let's see if he succeeds. And Verstappen's just taken the fastest lap, 1 minute and 8 seconds. This is quite a short track. What I'd say was 2.4 miles. So yeah, so they're getting around. Do the math, guys. They're going around a 2 mile track in 1 minute. So you can get your average speed. It's crazy. Average speed would be, with being 2.4, they're probably averaging 120, 130 miles an hour. And Sergio Perez is going to take away that 10th position the 9th position from Alex Albon. So Alex is back into 10th. But what Perez is showing there, he's just got new tires. He's showing that maybe the reason he was losing positions was because of tires and grip, and not able to stay up with the guys up front. So the guys up front right now, we've got Leclerc was leading. That's old. So it's Verstappen, Leclerc, Sainz, Hamilton, and Lando Norris. And again, we've got the battle of Mercedes and McLaren, and McLaren has DRS and the Mercedes does not. And let's see the grip coming into the corner here. And in fact, Lando Norris is, I don't know why he didn't take him there, because the Mercedes braked early, but he's going to get him here because he's got DRS, and he goes right past Hamilton there. Hamilton couldn't even challenge for that. It looks like that the braking of the Mercedes, the grip is just not there. Now Hamilton is challenging McLaren, of course, because he's got DRS here until Lando Norris opens up that 1 second gap, which does not look like it's going to take him long. He's already up at over half a second. So I think that Hamilton's got to start worrying about Fernando Alonso in 6th place. Where's his teammate? Lance Stroll slipped back to 11th position. So I don't know what happened there, whether it was a tire change. And we've got Valtteri Bottas and Magnussen. They're showing a replay there of a little mishap that they had. If you remember, about it's going to be 8 to 10 laps ago that the two cars, Valtteri Bottas ran into the back of the car. But they've got to decide, did he run into the back of him because he just braked too late, or did the Magnussen car slow up too quickly, too early, or something like that. So there's just because this is not like if you're out there on the street and you run into the back of somebody, you're automatically at fault. In this particular environment, the car in front is often to blame for somebody running into the back of them, and so the car in front does get punished. And now we got Sergio Perez about to make a move on George Russell. So that car, he has found the grip in that car that he was looking for. And that was obviously what was ailing him before. And we just didn't know about it. But he's less than a quarter of a second behind, and he has DRS and George doesn't. So they've just given poor Tsunoda another penalty for not serving the penalty. So now he's got 10 seconds back. We've got a little incident on the front of Sergio Perez's car. One of the airfoilers on the front wing is bouncing, but didn't make any difference. He flew on by George Russell, and so now finds himself up in 8th position. So making some nice moves here, Mr. Perez, trying to prove to his team that he's worthy of staying on it, because he is, in fact, let's say, on the bubble of losing his ride because of the last 4 or 5 races. The beginning of the year, he started off really well, but the last 4 or 5 races have been dismal, starting right from day one, from free practice all the way through qualifying in the race itself. So we've got, they're showing a replay of Carlos Sainz. No, it didn't look like he was exceeding track limits to me, but I guess the stewards are thinking so. There's something interesting. Charles Leclerc, at some point, without me noticing it, has taken the lead away from Max Verstappen and has, in fact, opened up nearly a 3-second lead. So what happened? Battle for first. Something happened. Did Verstappen come back in and I missed it? Because they're saying right now that that Verstappen is making up distance and he will take the lead back again in about 3 laps. So Lando Norris, I know you'll all hate me, but we must be within track limits every lap. There's so much going on out here. So it would appear that a lot of the drivers, and I think that's why they were showing the replay on Carlos Sainz, a lot of the drivers are exceeding track limits. So it's really strange, because it's a beautiful day. The track is dry, and it seems that all would be good. And all of a sudden, we've got Hamilton now challenging Lando Norris again to get that 4th position back. But Norris has got about a 6-second gap between him and Carlos Sainz. And yes, in fact, Verstappen is closing the gap quickly on Leclerc. So I must have missed something there, because it looked like after Verstappen came out of the pits for that tire change, he took the lead back within like a lap, within that first lap. So, and obviously I missed something there. I do apologize, but it's pointless doing this thing live if I'm going to miss all of the important stuff. But this is our first live stream podcast, folks. So like everybody else, learning along the way. You could, of course, switch to those extremely professional guys on Sky Sports, but I know you wouldn't want to do that. Why go to somebody professional when you can have an amateur do it for you? Anyway, back to the race. They were right. Verstappen is making up a second a lap on Charles Leclerc, so that's going to be moments away. Hamilton is hanging in there with Lando Norris. And in fact, Lando Norris complaining about people exceeding track limits just did it himself right there. But he had all his wheels way outside the white lines. He's complete. They're showing another car coming out of that turn. It seems like they're all having a really tough time keeping that car. It's just the momentum of the car really that's forcing them out over the track limits. And Verstappen now is about to take the lead back from Charles Leclerc. He's just roaring up behind him. He's obviously got a far superior car than that Ferrari, because he made it look slow. I don't know, he doesn't have DRS right now, but he's going to pass him anyway. So nope, changed his mind. It's really interesting these in-car views now. They have that's one thing that you gotta love about technology is that they put you inside the car, and they say it's what the driver sees, but you know what's not happening is if you look at the in-car camera, the in-car camera's head is bouncing like this, and of course the driver's head doesn't do that. It does to a certain extent, but not that fast, because the camera is picking up the vibration of the car, and so it makes it look like it's a lot rougher than it is inside that car. It is rough, believe me, it is rough inside those cars. The suspension is very, very hard. And so you get out of one of those things, and Verstappen is going to take Charles Leclerc right now on the inside, and he's passed him and back into the lead. So that he made that look really easy. He's still got DRS wide open. I don't know if that was quite legal, but he did it. And he did it, of course, to open up a gap between himself and Leclerc. So that was interesting to see whether the stewards will have anything to say about that. Sergio Perez is coming up on Fernando Alonso, so he's doing a really nice job of making his way back up through the field. And they're showing a replay now of Verstappen. And actually what you just saw there was the braking ability of the Red Bull car versus the Ferrari there, because Verstappen was past him under braking. So that shows you really the superiority of that, and MoneyGram's getting more for their money right now, as who is forcing Magnussen off the track. I can't see who that was. Let's see who that was. Let's look. Where's Magnussen? It wasn't Piastri. Bottas? Maybe Valtteri Bottas? They're showing Piastri as the car right ahead of him, but I don't. That was not a McLaren. That was there. I couldn't make out. I thought it was more maybe an Alfa Romeo or an Alpine or an AlphaTauri, maybe Niki Tsunoda and the AlphaTauri. So yeah, very interesting. Anyway, now we're about to see Lance Stroll move on past Esteban Ocon to get back into close to points position. That would put him up in 11th. And we've got, I see that George Russell took back that position from Alex Albon and has moved up. And now he's a good 3-4 seconds ahead of him. So that's not going to be much of a battle anymore. What is going to be a battle, I think, in a little while is going to be Sergio Perez and Alonso, and then we'll see that'll put Perez up into 6th position. So he's fought his way back from 14th to 6th. So obviously that car has come home for him now. And who do we have coming into the pits? It looks like it's one of the Aston Martins, and it is Lance Stroll coming into the pits. Let's see how long his pit stop is going to be. And tires changed, on, gone. Very nice. Yep, 2.7 seconds. A little longer than you probably want by about half a second, but still a very nice tire change pit stop there for the Aston Martin, which is going to put him back in 15th position, but still a long way. We're just about halfway through this race, so we're a long way yet of racing to go. Excuse me. So the good news is my little allergies up here that normally drive me crazy. Yeah, they're bothering me a little bit, but not as badly as I hoped, or not as badly as I thought they would be. So anyway, as we go in here, we're on lap 38 of 71. Your top 5 is Verstappen, Leclerc, Sainz, Norris, and Hamilton. And Norris now doesn't have to worry about Hamilton. He's really taken a 1.5 second gap here and given himself some comfort, so that he's not worried about Hamilton bothering him anymore and challenging him for that position. And I got a little sidetracked. I was showing Sergio Perez there, and I'm trying to figure out why He is 4 seconds behind Alonso, and they're saying Perez will be in striking distance within 3 laps. Let's see. That must, is Alonso still on the, no, he can't be on the original tires. They're showing Perez and Alonso and the 2 Ferraris, and then Bottas and De Vries are all on the medium tire. There's a driver that you just don't hear much about, so I don't know if he'll have a race, if he'll have a car next year, and that is Nick De Vries. And then all of a sudden I just say that, and he's just been handled a penalty of 5 seconds for something. Let's see, for forcing, yeah, it was De Vries that, as I mentioned, that I thought it might have been. It was De Vries that forced Magnussen off the track. So the 5-second penalty is not going to do him much damage because he's already at the back of the field. So anyway, that I was just talking. All of a sudden, we're talking about Nick De Vries, who was a reserve driver for Mercedes last year, and he was Formula 2 champion, but he just, he's got into Formula 1 late. He's 27 or 28 years old, and I think he's going to have a 1-year stint in Formula 1 because it's proving that he just doesn't have it. Now, he's not in the best of car, AlphaTauri, but let's see who else has an AlphaTauri. Who is it? Oh, they took it away from me. So they're showing the replay here of Nick De Vries forcing Magnussen off the track, and he does. Yeah, why did he do that? Interesting. But they're doing 160 miles an hour coming into a turn to drop down to Lando Norris just had a whoopsie. That'll cost him some time between himself and Hamilton. How much did it cost him? Half a second that Hamilton gained on him right there. And it left the Ferrari of Carlos Sainz, gave him another second and a half lead. So anyway, I was about to say that, they're driving these cars very, very fast, and it's if you think about the mistakes you make out on the street every day, and yeah, we all make mistakes on the street every day. Whether it's now, we drift from say the middle lane to the left lane and not really realize it, and nearly run into the car next to us, or we go to deliberately change lanes and don't check long enough and nearly pull into the car that's already in the spot we're trying to take. Well, imagine if all of that were in your brain was accelerated, 50 times, then it's quite understandable that so we've got Sainz, Hamilton, Ocon, Albon, and De Vries that have all got to serve penalties. So bad news for Lewis Hamilton. He's going to drop back to 7th, and they're bringing the McLaren of Lando Norris in now, and he's not going to worry about Hamilton because Hamilton's got to serve a 5-second penalty. So that's going to be to a certain extent, unless Lewis Hamilton can really find something in that car, he's got no chance of making podium today. Neither does George Russell. George Russell's back. Oh, he's back in the pits, so he's going to drop back to 13th or 14th. And a very nice pit stop for him, though, about probably 2.8 seconds. Very nice. So we got all the guys on hard tires that coming in now for their first tire change. So that's going to be interesting to see where we all play out, because let's see if Perez is going to come in again. But again, Perez is right on the tail of Hamilton. But it doesn't matter because Hamilton is going to come out, like I said, he's going to come out right now after he serves his penalty in and he's in the pit, so he's going to serve his penalty, right? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, go. Right, so it's going to be a 7.5-second pit stop. That's going to put him, like I thought, it's going to put him all the way back. What did I say, 9th position? Yes. Logan Sargent, who is 37 seconds now behind Lewis Hamilton. But Lewis Hamilton comes out 7 seconds behind Lando Norris. So yeah, interesting things happen. But I'm wondering if they're showing Alonso and Perez on medium tires. Now I know Perez came in and changed tires once before, so they've got to be on a 3-stop strategy. So they've done 2 mediums. So they got it. Or did they start on hard? I don't remember. I'm too old to remember all this stuff, folks. Not really, just kidding. But it is, you're trying to track 20 cars in your head and what kind of tires they're on and when did they change them. Those professionals, they cheat because they've got all of these statisticians talking to them in their ears. So the minute, say this, say that. Not only that, they got about 20 TV screens that they can look at all at once. They got every car in-car camera up on the screens in front of them. So, I've got one TV screen, and that's it. It's a very nice TV screen, and I can make things out quite nicely. But as fast as the cameras are trying to keep up with the cars, it's hard to pick out drivers, especially unless especially they change the helmet colors all the time. So it's not like you remember the helmet colors for this week, then you got to relearn them again for next week. So anyway, we're just going to watch. Who is this coming on past? That looks like Valtteri Bottas and Lance Stroll. And Valtteri Bottas, did he take him? Oh, he had DRS. That's why. Yeah, it was. So I got the cars right this time. Good for me. And Lance Stroll, in fact, okay, so Alonso now is in the pits to change his tires. Where's he going to end up? He's going to end up in 6th. Where's his buddy Stroll? Stroll is in 10th. Alex Albon is dropped back to 11th, so he needs to make up some time to get so. But and who we are here in the pits? Pierre Gasly. Getting in pits. He was already banged, so he's now dropped to 10th. Is he going to get ahead, stay ahead of Alex Albon? Yes. Alex has got 10 seconds to make up there. Who we got coming in? We got Carlos Sainz coming in now. So Sainz is going to drop back to 4th position. That's going to put Perez up, but Perez has got to come. Oh, he's serving a 5-second penalty as well. Oh, that's right. His name came up. So yeah, so he serves his penalty, and that puts him. Really, Perez should come in right now because he could undercut Serge. He could undercut Carlos Sainz, and we're watching Lando Norris move ahead of Carlos Sainz. So Norris is now up into 4th position. Perez is in 3rd, but he's got to come in for tires. So does Leclerc. So it's going to be interesting to see who ends up. It's getting exciting, except for the first position. It's getting exciting for who's going to podium today. And we've got Carlos Sainz using. Is he going to get past Norris? No, he won't make it. Really? Yes, he does. No, yeah, he does. Okay, looked like he wasn't going to make it there for a second, but there's nothing Norris could do about it. Perez got new tires, and Lando Norris doesn't. So Lando Norris slips back to 5th. Carlos Sainz is in 4th. Verstappen, it's just crazy. He's opened up 13 seconds on Leclerc. Remember, it's only 10-15 laps ago that he moved past him on the thing. So let's see what Leclerc. They're not going to show what he's saying, but I'm pretty sure Leclerc and Perez have to come in one more, and maybe so does Verstappen. But I don't think it's going to matter for Verstappen. But Lando Norris has got DRS on Carlos Sainz and may well take his position back here. So it's just going to depend on really who is the better driver and who's got the better tires. So he does have, and now they're bringing in Leclerc now. So that's going to put Perez temporarily into second position. So give him credit, folks. He changed tires and ended up in position 14, and now he's got Red Bull first and second. So if the Red Bull folks were thinking we got to get rid of Checo Perez, then he's just put the those thoughts right out. Excuse me. He just put those thoughts right out of everybody's head. So today, anyway, well, the race isn't over. Remember that. So anyway, it's really interesting to see what's happening there. So now Verstappen has a 26 second lead on the second place car. So he can come in at any time, change tires, and go back out, and he's still in the lead. He's continuing to open up on it. Leclerc is 8 seconds behind Perez. Sainz is 8 seconds behind Leclerc. It's interesting because I think if Perez had stopped, he could have done the undercut on Ferrari on those tires and come back out in second position. But they got smarter people than me sitting on the pit wall, so we'll let things play out. But I was right yesterday when I said that bringing those cars in and putting slicks on them was meaningless. In fact, it hurt some of them. They slipped back a couple of positions. So even though I'm sitting in my little podcast room here, I outsmarted all those smart guys sitting on the pit wall, because they don't know it, because they don't listen to this podcast. But if they listen to this podcast, they might learn something and start listening to my recommendations for when they should try the undercut or stay with these tires or go to those tires, because obviously I know a lot more than they do. And of course, it's part of being British. Being British, you just automatically know a lot more than the rest of the world. And I hope everybody knows that. I'm just joking. But now they brought Perez in. But I think oh no, sorry, it's Verstappen. So they brought Verstappen in. That's got to be his last pit stop, right? He's 21 laps from the end, and some cars are going to unlap themselves. I'm going to think that he's lapped everybody up to at least the 10th position, because he had 22 seconds on the second place car, and those guys are 10 other seconds behind, and he's come back out. So Perez has got 24 laps on his current set of tires, so he's going to be coming in the next 3 or 4 laps as we watch Verstappen lapping again. It looks like Alex Albon and Nick de Vries is back in the news, folks. He's really doing some really good stuff there. He's locked up the front of the car and gone straight on. Fortunately, he managed to save it in the runoff there. So he's really got himself on the news today, and they're now going to bring Perez in for tires. So he's going to come out in 4th place behind Carlos Sainz and Leclerc. So let's see what kind of a pit stop. He doesn't have to serve a penalty. So stop, tires off, tires on, down, gone. Good. 2.4 seconds. Beautiful. Can't beat that. Now they're still showing him in 3rd position as he comes out here. Now here comes Sainz and Lando Norris. There goes. He's coming out behind Lando Norris. So he's come out in 5th position, and he's going to be 4 seconds behind Lando Norris. So they should have they should have pitted him earlier. They really should have done. When everybody else was pitting, they should have pitted him because he's gone to the hard tires. And so, you know, for 21 laps, you could almost go to the soft tire. He's on this track. Nobody seems to have run the soft tire, which means that this track really tears tires up. But really, they could have. I think they could have brought him in and put him out. Probably in third position, split those two Ferraris. And Max Verstappen's just taken the fastest lap at 108.1. So he'll get an extra point for that. I don't think anybody's going to take that away from him, with the exception maybe of Sergio Perez, his teammate. We'll see. But really, I would say, sorry guys, the allergies they're starting to come into play. So the Mercedes are just not having a good day at all. You could argue that McLaren is having an all right day, and I say all right. Is Hamilton going to show us what Hamilton's going to say here? No, they're not. Come on, either don't put it up and then not put it up. Okay, so yeah, back to the McLaren. When I say they're having an all right day, they've got Lando Norris right now running fourth, but he'll lose that to Sergio Perez here at some point. So you got Lando Norris running fourth, but then you got Piastri all the way down there in 19th position. I mean, Nick de Vries is ahead of Piastri in a worse car. Actually, de Vries is not having that bad a day. He's up in 15th position. So, you know, there's talk about not having Nick around in that car next year. But Inez Perez just taking the fastest lap from his teammate. But they're talking about not having de Vries around next year. Where's his teammate? I can't find his teammate. Where is he? I can't find the other. Oh, I know. I'm looking at the wrong one. Oh, his teammate is behind him, Nicky Tsunoda. So he's having a better day than his teammate, which is odd. But Tsunoda has had one of those days. He's lost his nose cone. He's got forced off the track. He's run into the back of people, and he's got another penalty. He's just having a horrible day. 10 seconds now. So he's going to come in. Tsunoda is going to be dead last today. It's a shame, because they were just talking about this week. They were just talking about on the different news feeds that I read, and I just see our race leader exceeding track limits there. But anyway, they were talking about what a wonderful year he's having. They should have kept their mouth shut, because he's having a dismal day. But you know, it's one race. Whereas when you start talking about Nick de Vries, he's having one race that's better than. It's not bad. It's just slightly better than bad. But it's good to see that the McLaren seem to have solved some of their problems. We've got Lando Norris running at least where he should be with the Ferraris and with the Red Bulls. But he is going to lose that sixth or that fourth position. He's going to lose it to Perez. But I think we can pretty much now say who's going to be on the podium. It's going to be Verstappen and then the two Ferraris. So a really good day for Ferrari today, and actually an exceptional day for their number one driver, Charles Leclerc, because he has struggled the last, I would say, 4 or 5 races. He's just had lots of problems and kind of dismal days. Today is not going to be one of those days unless we're in the last 20, no, not even 20, in the last 17 laps here, something dismal happens to him, which I don't know that it will. But anyway, it's good to see the Ferraris are not challenging Red Bull. Okay, stay on track limits. We can't afford a penalty here. Enter turn 10. We're talking about a team to Perez. So Perez is exceeding track limits. So they don't want a penalty, because right now at 5th position, they've got all their cars ahead of Mercedes. And Lance Stroll back in the pit again for more tires. That's his third pit stop. Well, remember I said some might be on a that's 3-pit strategy. So something not right with Lance Stroll's car, drops him back to 12th. Fernando Alonso is not going to make podium this week, folks. And Fernando Alonso is not going to win at the Austrian Grand Prix, a Grand Prix that he has never won and never really done that well here. There must be something about this track. I don't know, it doesn't have enough turns for him. Remember, this track only has 10 turns, where typically we're looking at 15, 20 turns on a track. This one only has 10 turns. So, and that's one of the reasons why they get around it so quickly, right? They can really maintain that speed well up there. And we see Perez now knocking on Lando Norris's door, and he's just entered it and gone right past him. So, and in fact, that was a nice piece of driving because he split Bottas and Norris in two. So Lando Norris is back in 5th. Perez is up to 4th. Perez might get himself on the podium. He is only a second behind Carlos Sainz. I was just about to pick out your podium, folks, and it would have been premature because, in fact, Perez is going to take 3rd position away from Carlos Sainz in about 2 laps or less. He's right up behind him right now. If Carlos Sainz looks in his rearview mirror, he will see on his tail, he will see Sergio Perez. So let's look at who's also having good days. Logan Sargent is having a good day. Logan Sargent has finished every race in the bottom 3 or 4 that he has been a Formula One driver. Remember, he is a rookie driver, and we're watching Carlos Sainz block Sergio Perez there. Sorry. That's not very good. He might get a little flag for that. But anyway, Logan Sargent is having a really good day. And Alex Albon has got himself back up into 10th. So Williams are going to score points again today. And Perez is complaining that Carlos Sainz is moving under braking. And that's a no-no. Now, he's got DRS here, so let's see, down the straightaway into this turn, but he's being outbraked there by Carlos Sainz. But yeah, you're not allowed to block and move under braking. So let's see, is this going to be it? Yes, it's going to be. No, up the hill. Yeah, nearly, not quite. He's about there. He is so close. He's about his left front wheel was as close to touching Sainz's rear wheel, right rear wheel is crazy. So let's see. Perez is doing a really good job of holding him off there, kind of like what Alex Albon did last week. So anyway, the other guy that's having a pretty good day today is Joe Gragnew. Joe Gragnew, if you look at his name, you'd never think the way it's spelled that his name's Joe Gragnew. He is a Chinese Brit. He was born in China, but he grew up in the UK. So he's got a Chinese spelling on his name. And if they didn't tell you how to pronounce his name, there's no way you'd ever figure it out, unless, of course, you're Chinese. And then you'd say it would not be Joe in Chinese, right? Anyway, he's having an all right day. The team that I would say has underperformed today is the Aston Martin. Both drivers have just not done well, and Sergio Perez has finally put. Is he going to take the position back? Yes, he did, because he had whoa. And how Sainz hung on to that car there, I don't know, but he did, and he got the position back from the Red Bull, but that was crazy. Anyway, they're going to swap positions here for the next couple of laps because the car behind gets DRS, gets past him, and then they should do what Max Verstappen did. Max Verstappen left his DRS on while he was past him, and black and white track limits for Logan Sargent. That's not too good, Logan. But because we were just saying what a great day you were having, but don't do it anymore and you won't get any more points. So let's see what his Carlos Sainz is going to say on the radio. They're not going to show, but Sergio Perez is going to take him on the outside. No, cut him on the inside. This is a really nice battle. This is why we watch Formula One, folks. It is a really nice battle, and of course, all it's doing is giving Charles Leclerc a really nice, comfortable position up ahead of him to make sure that he secures that second position. So let's see. I do believe that the Red Bull will ultimately get past the Ferrari, but you got to give him credit. He's opened up a half-second lead again now. So let's see, maybe another strategy coming up on Perez about what he's going to do. Is he going to open up open up? Yeah, he's got DRS, opened it up. And it's time to vote for driver of the day. I think it's probably, well, the current vote is split between Norris and Perez, but I think you'd have to give it to Perez because he's come back from that 14th position. Norris has pretty much been up in the top 5 all day, and Perez is going to try and take him on the outside and then accelerate up on the inside. So we've got 10 laps to go, folks, and there was never any doubt about who the first position was going to be, and we've just watched now Sergio Perez go in front of Carlos Sainz, and this time is he going to hold it and keep it? It looks like yes, and now he's opening up a little gap, but Sainz rather will have DRS, and he's only Perez has only got a half-second lead on Sainz, so let's see how we end up here. They're going to show a replay of the overtake. Of the overtake. So because it's been battling here the last couple of laps, and so Perez got DRS and obviously goes by him and gets past him just quick enough to hold him off on the corner, because it looks like Carlos Sainz is better at driving through the corners than Sergio Perez. Now, Perez has got a half-second lead on him, so as fast as that Red Bull is, then, yeah, and the Red Bull's got DRS, but he's not catching him, so that's going to end up. So we can probably predict the podium today, folks. It will be Verstappen, Leclerc, and Perez. And it looks like Verstappen is just driving a casual Sunday afternoon drive now, because that lead that he was opening up, it's not opening up anymore. It's been at around 21 seconds for the last 6 to 8 laps. Lance Stroll, where's he? He's got himself back up to 11th position and just trying to get past here Alex Albon. If you remember last week, Alex Albon did a great job of holding everybody off. And Lance Stroll is nearly a second behind him with DRS, and he's not catching him. So we've got another black and white flag, this time for Esteban Ocon. And of course, all these black and white flags are for exceeding limits. Perez is thinking the stewards should have a look at the way Perez passed him. Well, okay, they can look at it. Looked pretty good to me. The stewards, I think, should have been looking at the way Carlos Sainz was blocking, but I can understand why Carlos Sainz is so upset, because he was in podium and now he's not going to be. And that's two things are going to happen. Perez is going to increase his championship lead over both the Ferrari guys, but even bigger, the Constructors' Championship gap is going to widen as well. So it's going to be very interesting. Folks, we should take this moment because we haven't done it yet today and thank our sponsors. They're going to be mad at me, but no, they won't. They're all great supporters. But we want to thank Thenology. As we've talked many times, and we've just watched Lance Stroll get past Alex Albon. But we want to thank Thenology a small data center in Austin, Texas for their sponsorship. They've sponsored us from the beginning. If you need somewhere to store your computers, do some co-location, maybe you want a private cloud or a public cloud, or maybe you just want to store data, then please give Thenology an opportunity to earn your business. That is Thenology.com. Again, Thenology.com. And we'd like to thank the folks at Give, Send, Go. You know, folks, you can't control what happens to you in life, but you can control how you fix it. And of course, many times the fix to a disaster is money. So if you'd like to raise money for yourself, for your family, for a friend that's come across hard times, or maybe they want to open up a business and they just want to try and get some crowdfunding money to put in place for the business, then please give, send, go a chance to earn your business. That is givesendgo.com. And so now we're watching. Perez has opened up a 2.5 second lead on Carlos Sainz. So the podium is pretty much set now. And we'd like to thank Moms for Liberty, momsforliberty.org. Folks, these folks really care about who and what and why your kids are being educated. They are of the belief, Moms for Liberty, that is, that children should be learning all of the sciences, the STEM, the science and technology and mathematics and English and history, all those kinds of things. And so they want the moms of America to get more involved, become part of your school board, get involved with your kids' education, get down there and tell the school board what you want your kids to learn and things like that. Let them know that the place to learn sex education and culture education and all those other things, that begins at home and starts at home and ends at home. It does not go into the classroom. So please join a chapter near you. That is momsforliberty.org, momsforliberty.org. And of course, as we come up to the end of the race here, which is literally in 5 laps from now, we will thank our sponsors again. Excuse me. Actually, my allergies has not been as bad this morning as they are some mornings. Our great and good producer and technical guru of all things, Andre Kuhn, spends a lot of the time cutting some of this stuff out. Because I'm scratching my eyes, pulling on my ears, rubbing my nose, and coughing and all those other things. And when he uploads this one to the podcast sites, then of course he will do some cutting. He'll cut out those pieces. But I've been surprised for the most part about how well I've managed to stave off all of the itching and scratching and rubbing and stuff like that. So let's look at the bottom of the field. We haven't done that in a while. So Nick de Vries is holding on to 15th position. Behind him is Kevin Magnussen, and behind him is Valtteri Bottas, Niki Tsunoda, and the last running car, the McLaren of Piastri. And really, I'm just totally bewildered about what has happened to Valtteri Bottas this year and that Alfa Romeo. Alfa Romeo last year, and we're showing a replay here of Lando Norris, really, I mean, well outside track limits. Anyway, back to Valtteri Bottas. It's been really interesting. I think last year, Alfa Romeo was like 3rd or 4th in the Constructors' Championships, and Valtteri Bottas was consistently in the top 10. And this year, I don't know that he's had a top 10 finish. I mean, he's all the way down there in 16th position. You're talking about a driver that 2 years ago, driving for Mercedes, was often on the podium. So it's just, I don't know what's happened. I don't know if it's the car, if it's Valtteri. I can't think that the driver fell off that much. But when we start looking at his teammate, Joe Granu, he is up ahead of him in 14th position. Valtteri Bottas should be doing better than his teammate every race, and he's not. So you've got to think either there's some terrible setup on those cars, or there's a really bad degradation in driver ability. I don't know which it is, but it's really surprising to see it, and surprising to see that they're not in the news more. Nobody's really talking about the Alfa Romeo and what's happened to them this year. So it's crazy. We're watching Max Verstappen now, because he's talking on his radio, but they're not putting it up on the screen. So he's still maintaining a lot. I see the smiles on the crew in the pits. So nobody's really worried about what's going on there. He has opened up another 2 seconds on Charles Leclerc. So we've got literally 2 laps to go in the race. And Verstappen is going to come in. You know what he's going to do? He's going to put on a set of soft tires because he's mad because his teammate Sergio Perez has got the fastest lap. And Max Verstappen wants to get that fastest lap. So in he comes, and so it's average of 20 seconds. He's got a 23-second lead on the second place car. So the only reason they can be pitting him is for fastest lap, because the tire changers don't need any more practice. Off, on, go. What was that? 2.3. Perfect. So he's going to come out and he's going to take the fastest lap. Mark my words. That's exactly what he's doing. That is just crazy. That shows really and I'm watching Alex Albon unlapping himself, I believe it is. So and there he comes out, and you see black and white flag for Perez. Whoa! So Perez better be careful because if he gets a 5-second penalty one more time, and he's gone under the soft tires. So you see, I really should be in. I should be in those. Should be on that pit box, calling out all of the strategies, because, like I said, you would go on the soft tire to get the fastest lap, which is currently held by Perez. But Perez has got to be careful. He's got a 3 seconds lead, so there's really no need to exceed track limits right now. But Verstappen just can't stand it that his teammate has got fastest lap and he doesn't. So in he came for the soft tires. Out he came. He's still got a 2.5, nearly 3 second lead on Charles Leclerc. And then the last lap will be the fastest lap for Verstappen. And they're saying battle for first. It's no battle. There's no way that Charles Leclerc is going to catch Max Verstappen. But he did make it interesting by pulling this stunt and wanting the fastest lap. So, I don't know whether I would have done that. I don't know at this stage whether 1 point would really make the difference, especially between those two, maybe between himself and Charles Leclerc, or even Lewis Hamilton, but no. And so let's talk about Lewis Hamilton and George Russell. Really a dismal day. You know, they had all these upgrades, and they did have a good race last week. Or the week before, actually, and now the orange smoke starts to come out for Max Verstappen. But and look, let's see, fastest lap. So he's fastest in the first sector, and he's opened up 2 seconds on Leclerc in the time in that one lap that he's been out, and he's going to relap, and yes. Folks, Max Verstappen has just taken the fastest lap, and everybody's clapping. Why are they clapping? The team already had fastest lap. All they did was take it away from the teammate. But so we're going to have a first and third podium for Red Bull. So they're going to be really happy. They're going to be really happy as we've come across the finish line now. They're going to be really happy with Sergio Perez. And then Perez is going to be really happy because he really was not having such great days the last few weeks. So a really, really nice day for Perez today. So as we come to the end of this, our very first live broadcast, we do want to thank our sponsors again, Thenology at Thenology.com. If you need private cloud, public cloud, co-location, or just plain data storage, please give Thenology a chance to earn your business. That is Thenology.com. Again, Thenology.com. And give, send, go. You know, if you ever find yourself needing to raise some money for medical bills, or even to start a business, or to help a friend, or you know of somebody that needs help, maybe it's not a friend, maybe it's just somebody out there in the news that you think should support, like this guy Will Penny that has been charged with manslaughter for helping a bunch of people on a train in New York City, finds himself charged with manslaughter because the guy that he was restraining ended up dying. But anyway, if you'd like to partake in that, please go to Give, Send, Go. That is givesendgo.com. And folks, especially here in the United States, if you are a mom or a dad, but more specifically a mom, please get involved with your child's education. It is really important right now, especially where we've got all of this woke culture stuff being pushed off on the kids, where they're making them question the identity of their sex when they were born. Boys being told they're now girls, and girls being told they're now boys. Boys being told they can have babies. Why not just teach them math and English and science and all those other things that are going to be of great benefit to them when they get out of school? Their sexual identity is not going to help them in any way get a better job or make more money or do anything of real value once they get out of school. So please support momsforliberty.org. That is momsforliberty.org. And of course, we want to thank our producer and our all things technical guru, Andre Kuhn, for the great job that he does every week, and spends a lot of hours doing it. And folks, neither one of us get paid. The sponsorship dollars here pay for equipment and pay for the space on the internet and all those things. But essentially, we're an all volunteer army right here at the Formula One News Hour. So please get your friends to sign up and become part of the Formula One News Hour each and every week. We will be live streaming going forward from now on every race. We will continue to upload the streams to the podcast places. So please tell your friends about us. Get your family involved. Formula One is the fastest growing sport in the world. There's about 100 million people just got through watching the Austrian Grand Prix. So have all your friends and family become part of it. And we will see you again next week when I believe we're in the UK for the British Grand Prix. Not too sure, I haven't really looked it up yet, but I do know we have back-to-back races. And so we really look forward to seeing you. And thank you again. This is Jonathan Steele with the Formula One News Hour.